O Mother Nui, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Rahur quit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
Picture this. It is 1637, and a man is dangling from a rope, just being slowly lowered into the smoking, actively erupting crater of Mount Vesuvius.
Oh, wow, that is terrifying.
Right. I mean, he is physically vomiting from the intense sulfurous fumes down there. But he is taking notes for a reason. He is trying to prove that natural disasters are mechanical functions of the earth, not the miraculous wrath of an angry god.
Which is such a massive shift in thinking for that era.
Exactly. Welcome to our deep dive. Today we are taking your stack of articles and notes on a monumental 1665 manuscript. It is called Mundus Subterraneus by Athanasius Kircher. And our mission for you today is to uncover how early modern science mapped the Earth's terrifying, uncharted abyss.
Yeah, it is such a visceral image to start with, because Kircher, well, he was operating in this incredibly messy middle ground.
Yeah, like bridging the gap between two worlds?
Basically, yeah. He was stuck right between believing in old Renaissance magic and demanding hard, empirical scientific proof. He wanted to look deep into the uncharted bowels of the Earth to figure out exactly how the planet worked.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because looking at your notes, Kircher didn't see the Earth as just a dead rock, right? He envisioned it as like this giant fleshy HVAC system.
A fleshy HVAC system is a great way to put it, honestly.
Well, his geocosmos model treated the planet as a living organism. So mountain ranges were this rigid skeletal structure, underground rivers were veins, and volcanoes, like the one he was puking into, acted as the planet's respiratory lungs.
What's fascinating here is the mechanics behind that system. Kircher proposed something he called the ignis centralis.
The central fire.
Exactly, a massive central fire burning perpetually at the Earth's core. And this fire radiated outward through these subterranean canals, intersecting with hydroflacia.
Hydroflacia, okay, what are those?
They were these colossal water reservoirs hidden deep beneath mountain ranges. It was a very precarious homeostatic balance. Surface ocean water was constantly drawn down to cool those inner fires.
Wait, so the oceans were the cooling system for the core?
Yeah. Kircher calculated that if this subterranean water ever failed to do its job, the thermal runaway would just trigger a fiery planetary apocalypse.
So the Earth is this pressurized, hyperheated machine that naturally makes it a massive planetary factory, like baking earthly materials into existence.
It's essentially a giant pressure cooker.
Right. But looking through your sources, I'm getting a bit hung up here, because Kircher includes alchemy as part of this process.
He does, yeah.
I mean, weren't human alchemists basically just greedy frauds in labs trying to spin lead into gold? Why is a guy who is risking his life for empirical data relying on magic?
Oh, well, he actually fiercely condemned laboratory alchemy for exactly that reason. He argued it was driven by human greed, deceit, and even demonic interference.
Demonic interference? Wow. So what kind of alchemy did he support then?
What he championed instead was natural cosmological alchemy. He argued that fragile glass vessels and, wood fires in a human lab could never replicate the deep geological heat and immense physical pressure of the Earth itself.
Okay, that makes sense. You can't beat the Earth's own furnace.
Right. He mapped out how deep geothermal heat vaporizes elements, which then naturally rise through rock fissures, cool, and perfectly distilled into metallic veins.
Oh, I see. He was essentially describing the very real mechanism of fractional distillation, just using the vocabulary of his era.
Exactly. He is explaining the actual mechanism of geology.
But a pressurized, chemical-filled subterranean furnace doesn't just bake rocks. I mean, this unique environment would have to impact life too, right?
It absolutely did. He viewed this subterranean world as both an incubator for bizarre life and a petrifying mortuary for the ancient dead.
A mortuary for the ancient dead, like the giant humanoid bones? I saw those in the notes.
Yes, the ones discovered in a cave in Trapani, Sicily, back in the 1300s. Rather than just dismissing them as folklore, Kircher applied rigorous mathematical analysis to the remains.
How do you mathematically analyze folklore bones?
Well, he measured the massive teeth that were found, cross-referenced them with the proportions of normal human teeth, and then mathematically extrapolated the height of the bodies.
Wait, really? And what did he find out?
Based on that math, he deduced that since ancient humans were massive, humanity must be slowly shrinking over time. And he applied this exact same taxonomic rigor to cataloging subterranean cave dragons.
So what does this all mean? How does a genius who created the very first map of global ocean currents and accurately predicted the Earth's molten core simultaneously do the math on shrinking giants and catalog cave dragons?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really comes down to the standard of evidence. Kircher used the absolute best empirical data available to him at the time.
Like what kind of data?
Highly authoritative classical texts, eyewitness testimonies from alpine miners, and stuffed specimens housed in European curiosity cabinets.
So by placing dragons in toxic, unexplored cave systems, he provided a plausible biological habitat for them based on the data he had.
Precisely. Think of it like modern scientists studying distant exoplanets today. They have to rely on flawed, incomplete secondary data to build their models. Kircher was doing the exact same thing.
He was bridging magic and modern geoscience to domesticate the abyss. He had this wild ambition to explain literally everything beneath your feet.
It really is amazing to think that modern geology owes its entire foundation to this chaotic, beautiful mix of theology, alchemy, and just visceral observation.
It shows that knowledge is always an evolution, built layer by layer on whatever data we have at the time.
Yeah, science is always a work in progress.
Which leaves you with this to ponder. If a brilliantly rigorous scientist mapped Atlantis and dragons using the absolute best data available in 1665, which universally accepted scientific truths that we firmly believe today will seem exactly like cave dragons to people 400 years from now,